comeback kids. The Royals did it again last night. After trailing 2-0 into the sixth, the Royals scored 4, and then 3 in the seventh, and then 1 in the eighth for their 9th come-from-behind win in April. A new month begins tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium, which is still buzzing after last night's exciting 8-2 come-from-behind victory over the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome to Royals baseball. And don't let the approaching weather fool you. The month of April is behind us, and the Royals are 14-10. That's quite a departure from last year when the Royals were 6-15. Now, you'd be surprised. The numbers are actually pretty comparable. Starters ERA is about the same compared to last year. Runs per game is about the same. But there's one big difference. Of course, it's the record, but if you go a little bit deeper, 9 come-from-behind wins already. 9 come-from-behind wins in 1 month. That's tied for second in the major leagues. And while the offense might be a little thin right now, the way they spread it out is not thin. 10 different players with go-ahead RBIs. Rex Hudler, we bring you in now and say, how has this all happened?
It's happened as spring training developed. They walked spring training. They killed teams. They were bashing the ball. They were pitching. All of it started then. Now, they've won Cactus League titles before, and a lot of people will tell you that's good for 90 losses. Not this year. With a newly armed staff, when a lot of confidence going into spring training and also coming out, these guys are doing it. Take, for example, the 4 bases-loaded walks earlier this month. I mean, those are finding ways to win games. And a great characteristic that you can instill in your ball club, maybe the best, is the fact that you're not out of games. So coming from behind those 9 games, that tells them that they're in every single game, no matter how badly they get down. That's going to carry them well into the season. Love to see those numbers.
James Shields was great last night. Luis Mendoza starts tonight. He hasn't made a start in 2.5 weeks.
damage against his former team, breaking out of an 0 for 13 slump with 2 hits. He scored a run and stole a base. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joe Goldberg out in right field, and Elliott will get another start tonight at second base. And he has a pretty good idea of what he and the Royals will see from Jeremy Hellickson, because, of course, he was in the same dugout with Hellickson when they were both Rays. And the one thing he said about Hellickson is that he is not going to miss very much. Great control. If you see him miss his target, most likely it's on purpose. Great fastball command, unbelievable changeup. He has a good curve that he won't use a whole lot, but he can use it if needed. You'll see him work slowly, and looks like he's slow, but he's a great athlete. He said in every at-bat, you might get one pitch to hit, and that is it. Need to look for mistakes. He and the Royals will do that. First pitch is coming up next from Kauffman Stadium. Brian and Rex are back with the call.
Lottery. Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from ATT Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. The temperature has dropped about 15 degrees over the past 3 hours, from the upper 80s to the low 70s. The Royals take the field in high definition, brought to you by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. So the power hitting Tampa Bay Rays, they extended their streak of at least one home run in 15 straight games last night in the first inning, but that's all they would score. Mostly the same lineup tonight, with the exception of the last 2 spots. Jose Lobaton will be behind the plate, and Kelly Johnson will be in left field. And they'll be facing right-hander Luis Mendoza. His last start was April 12th.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit strong, most likely, and that's not necessarily always good, because a sinker baller like Mendoza is, sometimes if you overthrow it, it flattens out and stays straight, and it's hittable. But if he's on his game and he expends a few pitches in the first inning, keep that sinker down. Curveballs, changeups, everything that moves down, really is going to be important for the defenders to be on top of their game with Mendoza. Defending behind him, I'm going to show you the important guys. Certainly going to be the left side of the infield right here. With Escobar and Moose, if his sinker's working the way he wants it to and his changeup, a lot of guys could be rolling over that ball. So BLI for ground balls, they'll be ready.
And there will be no easy plays in the air for the infield or the outfield. It's another windy night, but a completely different wind. Yesterday and the day before, it was a strong wind out of the south, warming Kansas City up. And now it's a pretty stiff wind out of the northwest, cooling Kansas City down. And we could be in the 50s before the game's over tonight.
It's amazing how quickly it changed.
A strike from Mendoza to Desmond Jennings, who swung sort of at the first pitch last night. It was more of a check swing and ended up with an infield single and scored on the Matt Joyce home run. That's a full swing and a miss, 0-2.
They'd like to see him cut down on his swing a little bit. He's had 15 strikeouts over his last 10 games. Not what you want from your leadoff guy.
Perez putting his glove on the dirt. He wants this pitch down, and it is. Jennings thought about it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, I take that back. My weather bug is not accurate. It is 66 degrees, so it's dropped about 20 degrees in the past few hours. Still 1-2 on Jennings.
I bet there's some people here in Kansas City that left their homes with short sleeves and shorts on and got to the ball game and went, wow. It changed a little bit on us.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were some smart folks too that brought their leather jackets.
See, the guy in the black is telling the guy in the blue shirt, it's experience, young man. It's experience.
That's right. There we go.
Yep.
Cover up a little bit. It'd be nice to get this game in for sure. We don't know about the next 2.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Jennings, who is batting just .227. That base hit in the first inning was his only hit last night, and the Royals struck him out twice. James Shields, 7 innings, 2 runs. Kelvin Herrera and Greg Holland each pitched a scoreless inning last night. Struck him out. Good start for Mendoza. And a fastball tailing in on Jennings. 1 down.
I think that's 16 strikeouts now Jennings has had over the last 11 games. So Mendoza used maybe a few more pitches than he wanted, but the result was good. Keep him off the base.
Here's another weather report. And if you're wondering about what's on its way, it is 66 here at Kauffman Stadium. In Lincoln, Nebraska, it's 34.
Ooh.
So bring your plants in tonight. Matt Joyce, for the second night in a row, hits a blast to right field and a home run. That's a team record for Tampa Bay, a home run in 16 consecutive games. And for Matt Joyce, that is his 6th home run of the year.
Wow, carbon copy from last night's game. How dare the Rays go ahead of the Royals? Just sets them up for possibly getting beat again. I mean, the Royals got 9 come from behind wins out of their 14.
Well, look at it this way. Every time Matt Joyce hits a home run in the first inning against the Royals this year, the Royals win. So we'll see if it happens again tonight.
Was that exhaustive research?
Yeah. For what did you say the other day? Extensive homework?
Yeah,
is that what it was?
I missed again.
1-1 on Ben Zobrist. Zobrist was in right last night, and now he's at second base tonight. In one season with Tampa Bay, he played 7 different positions. That's hit well to right field. And Francoeur will watch that one sail into the bullpen. Back-to-back home runs, Joyce and Zobrist. And for Zobrist, that is his 3rd.
Okay, I mentioned that first inning. Important for Mendoza to keep that ball down. He's a little bit strong. And when you're strong, your sinker's not sinking. And been the case so far. Early in this one, there it is. Fastball down the middle, elevated. And Zobrist just took his hands right to the ball and got underneath it.
Inside to Evan Longoria, who was hitless last night. He did reach with a walk. One ball, one strike.
It's the first time this year the Rays have gone back-to-back homers.
Curveball for a strike. Mendoza's first start was in Philadelphia, and I thought the key pitch for him, that's his best appearance so far, was his curve. And then his next start was against Toronto, and they knocked him around a little bit, and they were not swinging at the curve. And down goes Longoria. So a couple of strikeouts, bookending a couple of home runs, 2 down.
You know, he's really going to have to get that curveball over in order to get through his powerful lineup. Mix them up.
Those are the first 2 home runs allowed by Mendoza this year. And now maybe the hottest Rays hitter at the moment, James Loney, who's hitting .373. He had 3 hits last night, and that was the 3rd time in his last 4 games he's had 3 hits. And a breaking ball for strike 1.
Well, you're locked in when you can get 3 hits in a game and then continue it 3 out of the 4 games. He's seeing the ball well. Likes to pull the ball if he can.
One and one. Trying to go the other way. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Loney is out of the Dodgers system and was their first round pick in '02. Excellent defensive first baseman, but while he didn't hit the home runs that the Dodgers were hoping for from that position, he did drive in 90 or more runs twice. 2 and 2. And if you're driving in 90 runs, I guess you don't have to worry too much about the home runs.
Just however you're getting them in, get them in. Madden's most impressed with his glove.
Pitch number 20 in the inning. And it's 3 and 2. Jennings struck out. Joyce homered. Zobrist homered. Longoria struck out. And a curve is fouled away.
You know, one of the things that's impressed me about Mendoza since last year was not just, you know, his bulldog mentality and how big and strong he is, but really it's his attitude. He's got a great attitude, and for a number 5 starter that gets skipped, especially as many off days as the Royals have had this year, it hasn't bothered him one bit. Always smiling. Have you ever seen him angry?
No.
Except, you know, out there on the mound, he's not going to show that smile too often, but he's got a great spirit.
And he's at the bag to get Loney to end the inning. So just like last night, the Rays get 2 in the top of the 1st inning. game tonight that he did not see the rally last night coming. Out of nowhere, the Royals with 4 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. And after doing nothing for 5 2/3 innings, the Royals ended up with a blowout victory. And Ned's going to go with the same lineup tonight, which includes Elliott Johnson batting 9th at second base. And that's going to be our Sprint Unlimited Answers question. Who is your pick to hit? Who's going to be the offensive star tonight? And you have 9 choices. Text 432-432 to vote, and then enter A through I. You don't say that very often.
You know, last night I thought it was going to be Moose, and it was. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be right again, but I'm going to go with Lorenzo Cain tonight, personally. I think Locane's going to pick up any scraps that are left over that Billy Butler doesn't get from the top.
He'll be facing another good pitcher, 26-year-old Jeremy Hellickson, the American League Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. And he has a lot of friends and family here tonight. He is from Des Moines, drafted by the Rays out of Hoover High School, and has about 50 to 60 friends and family here tonight.
He is a young man. The opponent's only hitting .216 so far this season. Got a fastball, he'll vary. He's got a sinking fastball and a cutter. He can reach 95 miles an hour with his four-seam. A curveball, and his best pitch is his changeup. So he'll be another tough foe, although he has allowed 15 runs this year. 8 of those have come in the first inning. So go to Hackett. However, the Royals have not scored in the first inning over the last 7 games. So he's been prone to giving up some early runs in the first. Jump on him.
Alex driven into deep left center field. Jennings showing off his speed, and he made the play on the track.
Wow, Gordon looked up. He's standing at second base saying, really? He made that catch? Wow. And that ball left his bat. I thought for sure that was going to be in the gap. Jennings showing that at great speed. Didn't have to leave his speed even. Full speed on the run. Look at the focus. Oh. So you know what Alex says? All right, don't hit it to me, because I'm gonna take everything I can get from you. Great play.
And we just saw the reaction of Hellickson. He's still not quite yet on the mound yet. He had to take a little while to soak that one in. He was thinking runner at second or third with nobody out. And here he is pitching out of the windup with 1 out and nobody on.
That's why you got your speed guy in center. Got to run those down. I mean, had he not caught that, no one would have said a word. It would have been great hitting by Gordon.
There's the changeup. 1-1 on Escobar. 1 for 5 with a run scored and a stolen base last night, hitting .286. One and two. Hellickson's got a, it's not as exaggerated, but it looks like he's got a little bit of Alex Cobb in him too. Kind of a slow, deliberate, a lot of moving body parts in the windup. That's past the mound. And the Rays, Escobar, bare hand play and a good one. So Hellickson's been backed up by 2 great defensive plays to begin the bottom of the first.
I'll say, wow, that ball was moving at a pretty good speed for a bare-hander, but he was very confident when he made that play. All right, defensively, there they are. They've made just 10 errors this year. They've done a pretty good job so far, a lot better than last year with their errors. Matt Joyce, he's in right field. This is making his 11th start in right. 7 in left, 2 as a DH. Joe Madden likes athletes. He likes guys that play multiple positions.
Jose Lobaton, and we just showed you the league's been running on him. Successful in 10 of 11 attempts. Royals are aware of that. Billy 1 for 4 last night with his 15th RBI of the year. 1-1 against Hellickson. So 257 with a 404 on base percentage. Big walks, 18 already this year. 3rd most in the American League. Curveball got away from Hellickson. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, you know, facing a guy that's giving up a lot of walks, you don't necessarily want to go up there and take and get in the hole. You got to, kind of wait him out a little bit here. So, see some pitches early. And if he falls behind, then you can take. Although you're not going to ask Billy Butler to take here 3-1. That ball shooting out to right as that wind's changed from last night to tonight, from the left field foul pole to the right. Wait on one and drive one that way.
And that wind on Alex Gordon's drive helped Desmond Jennings a little bit, or a lot of it. And there's a base hit into left field for Billy. So he's at first with 2 down, and now Eric Hosmer comes to the plate, and he got that 2-out, 4-run rally started in the bottom of the 6th.
And it was off a breaking ball. A pretty good pitch that was down, and he was able to stay inside it and lift it, and that's his strength. He loves to go the opposite field. Got up underneath that and got it going. Now, the frenzy hitting that happened after that was on a lot of off-speed pitches by Cobb. There was some talk about maybe Cobb was tipping his pitches or giving them away, but I want to credit the Royals' approach. And they'd already seen him 3 times. And now they've adjusted. They know he was going with a lot of breaking balls, and they didn't miss him. He was missing out over the plate. And so, sometimes you can pick a certain tendency that a pitcher's doing, maybe, and you might be able to pick up on a certain pitch. But I'm just going to call that contagious hitting until I find out any more.
A little bit inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a good sign, though, to get Hosmer going. He still hasn't homered.
Now, it would seem, Hud, that Hellickson and Cobb are very similar in style. So does that help the Royals tonight?
Yeah, it does. Compared to a guy like Ubaldo Jimenez, coming in, it's really funky wind-up and delivery. It helps. But to me, Hellickson's a little bit more deliberate. Cobb had a pause in his delivery at the top and then a slow pause as he was separating his hands. And looks like Hellickson's a little bit smoother, although similar.
Both fastballs in the low 90s. Both of them have a very good changeup. Two and 2 on Hosmer.
Okay, here's a little split of them. So you see them both there. They both have that leg kick. Cobb's not as high as Hellickson, but they're very similar.
Biggest difference might be their height. Hellickson is listed at 6'1", but he'll even admit he's closer to 5'11". And Hosmer chases a pitch down. And Jennings, coming up in center field, makes the play. And Hellickson got 2 very good defensive plays behind him as the Royals are scoreless in the first. Back on Saturday, June 15th, and anyone 25 years or older can join the Royals alumni on the field. One pitch, one out. Good start to the second inning for Luis Mendoza. The cost is $300. It's from 8 a.m. to noon, and that includes breakfast, a t-shirt, shorts, and an autographed baseball by the pros who will participate. Call 816-504-4150 to sign up for Royals alumni batting practice. Luis Mendoza gave up a couple of solo home runs in the first inning, also struck out 2, and now 1 out on 1 pitch against Escobar. And will deal to Scott, and Luke Scott takes a strike. I'd like to go to Jeff Montgomery. When we were on the field doing our roundtable on the radio side before the game and talking about Luis Mendoza, and he hasn't started a game in about 2.5 weeks. How is he going to deal with some rust? Monty, you thought he might go to the curveball quite a bit early, and he did in the first inning.
It's oftentimes difficult to judge what's going to, how things are going to open up for a pitcher who has not had a lot of game activity. And oftentimes a sinker ball, especially if you go to that breaking ball, it allows you to start working down. I noticed the first few pitches he threw of the game, threw the sinker, and he was up because that sinker was not getting the life he's used to getting, and as a result we saw 2 home runs. But that's why I like to always try to maybe go to my off pitches when I'm having trouble getting that sinker down.
And that ball's down, and Escobar had to go back to his normal spot, jump throw. It's past Hosmer, but hits the netting, and Luke Scott will have an infield single. Well, there you have it, Hud.
Yeah, when you're a little bit, see that shift went against him there. Scott told me yesterday that he was going to focus middle of the field. He knows they're going to play him to pull like Elliott Johnson in shallow right field. Hit against the shift there, it worked. But getting back to Jeff Monty, while we have you, I talked about when you're strong and you're a sinker baller, it's hard to get that sinker to sink because you're a little bit strong, and it might take him after that first inning to kind of settle in. And sure enough, he left some pitches flat out over the plate.
Yeah, another thing that a sinker baller will do is maybe throw an extra 10 or 15 pitches in his warm-up in the bullpen to try to get a little bit dull and maybe get a little more tired than normal when he comes in a game. It doesn't sound very productive to think about doing it, but you think about the amount of pitches he's thrown over the last 2.5, 3 weeks. It's just not been enough pitches to keep his arm strength at that level where he has the life that he needs.
Against hitters especially. You can throw in the pin all you want on the side, and they've been doing that with him, but when you're not facing a hitter, it's hard to tell.
The other tough part about that is you can't throw too much because you may be called in the second or third inning of a game and need to be able to give your manager 3, 4, 5 innings in a long relief role. So you have to be a little cautious on the amount of work you do get before your next start.
And there you go, a sinker that stayed up to Lobaton, and now 3 balls and no strikes. Lobaton hitting .235. Jose Molina was the catcher for the Rays last night, and that's across the knees for a strike. And like a lot of backup catchers, known more for his defense than his bat. And now a walk. 2 on, 1 out. And again, it's the fastball that was up. Well, Ned Yost said yesterday, he reiterated again today, that to be a number 5 starter, it's a completely different mentality, especially early in the season, because you just don't know when you're going to pitch.
And it's a valuable position, and someone has to be cut out for that. I've always said to be a 5th guy in a rotation, you almost have to be like a utility player. You have to accept that role and understand that there are certain situations where you may sit for 2.5 weeks before you have a start, and you have to stay sharp, just like a utility guy has to come off that bench at times and do the job.
And now strike 2, Kelly Johnson.
Okay, that had a little bit more downward action to it. That was a better sinker there. And speaking of utility guys, Kelly Johnson isn't exactly one, but Joe Madden's been playing him in left field. He's been DH, second base, played a little bit of first. Another guy that can swing around different positions.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes the biggest challenge for a manager or pitching coach is find a guy that's willing to accept that role, just like it's difficult for sometimes utility guys to accept their role as that bench player.
Got that right.
And again, up with the fastball. 2-1. Now, for somebody who didn't pitch, sorry, Hood,
That's
it's
okay.
like, okay, well, you just need to get the ball down. Well, he knows that. So what's keeping him from getting the ball down?
It's so difficult because just like as a hitter, you're trying to stay back, and when you're in some kind of a slump and you keep jumping out and trying to get the ball before it gets to the plate, as a pitcher, you have the same tendencies. You want to kind of jump forward, and your whole body gets ahead of your arm, and it makes it very difficult to get that downhill plane that's required. Every pitcher needs to be pitching downhill, and especially a sinker ball pitcher.
2-2 on Kelly Johnson. Luke Scott at second base. Jose Lobaton is at first. And now 3-2. Mendoza has appeared once since his last start. That was Wednesday at Detroit. But that was still a week ago. So even his last appearance, you have to go back 7 days, and he went 2 1/3 innings. Johnson slices it up the left field side, and that is foul. So in the last 2.5 weeks, he's been pitching a lot in the bullpen, and he's been playing a lot of catch. But he's only been in a game twice.
And you go back to that game last Wednesday in Detroit, he wasn't very sharp when he first came out of the bullpen. He got better as he went along, and very difficult conditions on that game, but he was still, he had trouble. He had 3 walks in his 2 1/3 innings, so he got better as he went along, but it's still difficult, especially if you're a starting guy. You have to get things going in the first inning.
And Johnson hits it hard to right over his former Braves teammate Jeff Francoeur, and that's off the fence for an RBI double. Scott scores, Lobaton goes to third, and Kelly Johnson has driven in his 9th run of the year. Tampa Bay leads 3-0.
So I'm sure the message being sent back to the Rays dugout is, hey, lay off of his breaking stuff, look for something out over. He's going to give it to you.
Yeah, he's thrown a lot of thigh-high pitches, thigh-high, belt-high pitches,
Yep.
and they just have not missed them.
Oop.
Infield in halfway with Jennings at the plate and Lobaton at third. Fans ask sometimes why all the way in and why halfway in, and it has to do with the runner at third, right?
That's right. You know, and also with a runner at second and third, sometimes you play him halfway and it gives them more range. They can knock the ball down, not let that runner from second score. But if there is a ball right at him, they can cut down the run at home.
Well, Mendoza got up to a good start tonight. He faced Jennings and struck him out. That was before the back-to-back home runs. And now Jennings with another chance in the next inning with 2 in scoring position. And the curve is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. That curveball in Philadelphia, I mean, that had the Phillies all mixed up. And then the Blue Jays, I'm sure they watched that video because they just weren't swinging at that pitch in his next start like the Phillies were.
Well, if you go back to last year, he struck out 9 in a game against the Blue Jays. I asked him the next day about what happened in that game, and he just said my curveball was really on in that game. And you know, in the game when we were watching him throw against the Phillies, that curveball was just nasty. He had that finish, you know, deep in the batter's box. So he looked really good with that curveball. I think it's a key pitch for him. I think it's really what completed him and made him a major league pitcher.
And that's hit well to center field. Kane makes a play, and both runners will move up. So now Tampa Bay has 2 more in the second for a 4-0 lead as Jennings drives in his 6th.
Mendoza better find a way to keep that ball out of the hitting zone because the Rays aren't missing. It's another one right down the middle.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of balls, again, right in that middle part of the plate, middle part of the thigh for the hitter. Kind of where you like it, isn't it, Rex?
Got that right, Monty.
You guys face each other, by the way?
No.
I don't believe we did.
I never sniffed the on-deck circle when a closer was in the game. They were yanking me out.
You were long gone at that
Before
point.
I even got to the on-deck circle, I was looking back.
I think, just to make sure, associate producer Al Broughton needs to look that up. Jeff Montgomery, Rex Hudler. You're saying no?
I'm saying never.
Okay.
I would have remembered if he hit a home run, I promise you.
No way. Only in a
Why?
dream.
Because you'd have gone home and opened up a vein or something?
Yeah, they might have released him.
I saw some of those towering shots. I saw that memorial one for him in Baltimore he hit.
Every once in a while it was an accident, but there was a lot of guys released after giving up home runs to me, I'll tell you that.
Matt Joyce homered in the first inning for the second straight game tonight in about the same spot to right field. And he hits that run right to Elliott Johnson. And that's the inning. Monty, thank you. We'll check in with you later in the game.
Absolutely.
2 in the first, 2 in the second for Tampa Bay for a 4-0 lead. He did in the 6th last night with a 2-run home run.
Short to the ball and plenty of emotion.
And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So Kane, Moustakas, and Francoeur. Jeremy Hellickson got 2 great plays on defense to begin the first inning. Desmond Jennings running down a ball in left center field on a ball hit by Alex Gordon, which would have been a double at least. And then Yunel Escobar made a good play on Alcides Escobar barehanded. And now Escobar, a little easier play, and throws out Kane. 1 down.
Jeremy Hellickson got the nickname Silent Assassin when he was in AA and AAA because he's very quiet. He's got a little dry sense of humor, but he's a quiet guy and shows no emotion at all on the mound. Since that's just how I operate when I'm pitching. I don't want to tip any emotions to the hitter. But he did show a little emotion when Jennings made that great catch off of Alex Gordon's bat. He went, wow.
That's the best curve he's thrown tonight. 0-2 on Moustakas. Home run for Moustakas last night. That snapped a string going back to last year of 129 at-bats without a home run. And when you're hot, you're hot. With the count 0-2, he somehow got to that ball, very similar to his first hit last night.
Yeah, another off-speed pitch. Lobaton wanted it on the ground, and that's where he was going to get it. But Moose just said, you know what? A little bit of a soft step, and he just reached out and extended his arm. Made some contact out in front. Really a good piece of hit.
So he's hitting 5 in a row now, and last night in his first at bat against Alex Cobb, the count was 0-2, and he about picked one off the dirt and got a base hit to center field. Francoeur, that caught the Rays by surprise, but he bunts it foul. 0-1. All right, after exhaustive research, Rex Hudler was 0 for 2 against Jeff Montgomery, including grounding into a double play.
Wow, I had 2 at-bats off of Monty. That makes me feel good.
That?
Hey.
Maybe it was one of those get some work in days for Monty.
Obviously.
Blowout game. He hadn't had an appearance in a few days.
That's right. That's exactly what it was.
Game wasn't on the line.
It wasn't very memorable. Monty didn't remember either.
Oh, 0-2 on Francoeur, who had 2 hits last night, a double and a triple. Drove in a run.
Last 6 games, though, Frenchie's 7 for 22. Trying to climb up there a little bit.
And a changeup strikes him out. Hellickson has his first strikeout. So here's another Rays pitcher with a good changeup. And you say, well, I guess that's what they teach. I mean, they all seem to have good changeups, but Hellickson's story is a little different. In 2009, when he was in the minor leagues, he injured his shoulder. And the curveball typically can put stress on the shoulder, so the Rays for a while didn't allow him to throw that pitch. So that reduced him to fastball changeup. And because he had to rely on it so much, it improved. And he was able to go back to the curveball, but didn't throw it as much because his changeup had developed the way it did.
Changeup's one of the best pitches and underrated pitches there is. Fastball, if you got a good one, there's none better. You can place it, and you can change speeds on it. Work a lot of different variations off of that, but when you change speeds, tougher.
And a tough hop for Longoria, but blocked it, kept it in front of him, and he throws out Salvador Perez. So at the end of 2, it's Tampa Bay 4 and the Royals nothing. is just falling down into the low 60s already. Hey, with Mother's Day right around the corner, give your mom a special gift she will never forget. You can have Slugger personally deliver a Sluggergram consisting of Royals earrings, tulips, a t-shirt, tickets, and more. Deliveries are made Mother's Day weekend. Visit Royals.com/Slugger to book your gift today.
Well, in between innings, I saw the 3 umpires that are out in the field run in and get their jackets on. Not Ted Barrett, though. He's a tough guy.
Former boxer who once sparred with George Foreman. So if you can handle that, I think you can handle a wind out of the Northwest.
Yeah, one time in spring training, I was coming from Tucson and in my car, and I looked over, and there's about 3 or 4 guys on Harleys, you know, riding their motorcycles, and I looked over and I looked again, and it was Ted Barrett coming back on his Harley from the game in Tucson. I honked. I almost swerved off the road. I was pumped to see him. He thought there's some fan that was just overzealous.
Zobrist flies to Kane. He homered first time up, 1 down. Mendoza gave up 2 in the first. Both were solo home runs, and then 2 more in the second. And now Evan Longoria with 1 out and nobody on, and Mendoza struck him out with a curve in the first inning. Scorch to left field. Alex dives, and it's sunk on him and skips all the way to the fence. And Longoria is going to try for 3. Alex's throw is just a little bit offline. Moustakas had to back up to get the right hop, and that took him away from the base. And that's the first triple of the year for Longoria.
And he wasn't so sure coming around second base if he was going to go. Now Gordon, he made a great effort on this. Now he tried to alter his glove angle so he could knock it down and keep it from going back. But sometimes when you commit, you go ahead, but that ball was bounced way in front of him.
And again, the Royals will bring most of the infield in halfway. At least 3 of the 4 infielders. Elliott Johnson will stay back for James Loney, who has driven in 11 for the Rays this year. He has driven in 12 for the Rays this year. So Longoria's triple turns into a run, and now Tampa Bay has scored in each of the first 3 innings, and they lead 5-0.
He's just firecracker hot. Anything out over, and he's short, and he sees the infield in. That's a perfect at bat there. You don't want to drive that ball right back up the middle. Big hole there. Even if they weren't in, that's going to be a clean knock.
Yunel Escobar hit a soft liner to Elliott Johnson at second base. His first time up, and he takes strike 1. Batting at 167. Moustakas, tough hop, out at second. Johnson to Hosmer for an impressive double play.
Wow, he got on top with that throw to Elliott Johnson. He threw a dart over there to first. Moose had a hard time getting out of his glove. Still did it.
third inning. The New York Yankees will be coming to town just once this year, and it's just right around the corner. A weekend series, May 10th through the 12th. It will feature summer fireworks on Friday, a drawstring bag given away by the MLB Network on Saturday, and a Royal scarf, which would come in handy tonight. That is for the ladies on Mother's Day. You can get your tickets right now at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS. Jeremy Hellickson pitching with a 5-0 lead. Elliot Johnson, his former teammate, will lead off, then Alex Gordon and Alcides Escobar.
And Ned is trying to ride the hot hand by staying with Elliott. He broke an 0 for 13 in last night's game with a couple of hits, a steal, and a run. There's that double play right here. He turned. Look at how he stayed on top and just threw a dart. What an arm he's got. Loney got a piece of him, too. Used the base as protection there.
And Johnson hits it well to right field. And that is gone. His first home run as a Royal.
Yeah, that felt good. And a nice quick trot, too. I mean, that's a beautiful swing. Get his team in the game. And Ned's riding him. Lobaton wants it in, and there it was. Elliot Johnson, you see the little hop? You saw it, Ryan. Yep, hitters will tell you. That's beautiful. And with that wind blowing hard out there to right, he knew it.
Ball one to Alex Gordon, who lost an extra base hit on a great play in left center field by Desmond Jennings. Now, if you were watching last night and you remember Alex's base hit off the knob of the bat, yes, Alex said, that is the most unique hit of his life, or as he put it, the luckiest hit in his life. Change up, 2 balls and 1 strike.
I thought it hit right above his left hand on the handle, and then as a replay showed it, right off the knob and missed his pinky. He thought about, well, that should have hurt, because that's unusual. You know, lots of guys will catch their little pinky on that and get hit by the pitch, and they'll call it a strike because your hands are part of the bat. But I've never seen that before.
He said it hit the knob perfectly. Didn't hit his finger at all. Just nothing but knob. Hellickson threw him 2 great changeups in that at bat. 1 away, and that's Hellickson's second strikeout, and both have been with the changeup.
He'll use that back to back, sometimes even 3 times. He's very confident in that pitch, and I told you, when he's got it going, it's going to sink down like a lot of good changeups do. Similar action that James Shields' changeup has.
Escobar lines it into center field for a 1-out base hit. And now he's on for Billy Butler, and Billy singled in his first at bat. A little bit inside, ball 1. And now Billy slams it into center field. So 3 hits for the Royals and 1 run so far in this inning. And the Royals have 2 on with just 1 out.
Okay, check a look at Billy's eyes. He didn't light up. Now he waited just to click for that ball to break, and then he stayed right on it, right up through the middle. Good swing path. See, when that front foot goes down and it's an off-speed pitch, you try to time that front foot usually for a fastball, but when that happens, you got to keep the hands back. And he does that. And I'm not sure what kind of sign that was. They all got a little something going now. As Joel and Monty were talking about in the pregame show, they all have a little something going now. Just sitting back to the dugout. As Miguel Tejada suggested that, you know, the guys get a little bit more excited about a base hit.
Some guys have a planned one, and some guys just kind of make it up.
He didn't even know what to do then, Billy. So they're all doing something now. And that last one, he kind of pointed upward, and there were some guys in the dugout shaking their heads saying, "No, Billy, that's not you there."
1-1 on Hosmer. And if you're watching Hy-Vee Royals live, and Nate Bukaty did a report on the background with all the different hand gestures, just guys showing some excitement when getting a hit and sharing that excitement with the dugout. And then Nate suggested that maybe the announcers jump into the fun and
after
he put on display what his celebration is. Did you get a chance to see that? No swing, 2-1.
No, I missed it. Maybe you can show it. What is that? Is that the Macarena? I don't know about that one. The Three Amigos, that's right.
Three balls and 1 strike on Hosmer. Well, Moustakas erased a long drought of at-bats without a home run last night. Hosmer has gone 119, so he is due. And Hellickson giving up the home run to Johnson in this inning. He's allowed 6 home runs this season in 33 innings. Escobar at second, Butler at first. Three and two.
Okay, Hosmer, a 294 hitter with a runner in scoring position so far early this year. Royals overall, 316. Good number. One of the reasons why they're over 500 this year. Minus the home runs, they're still finding ways to chip in hits when the guys get in scoring position, and that's a good thing. Any way you can to cross them. Now, 3-run bombs sure help you get back in games like this, but they'll take them any way they can get them. Ball's not going to go to left too well with that wind. Right field heavy.
And a walk to load him up for Kane. Now Hellickson is a good pitcher, we know that, but he's not coming off a good start. And when he pitched on Thursday at Chicago, he gave up 5 runs in 6 innings, and he gave up 4 walks. And that was the second time this year he's given up 5 runs in a start. And the Royals down 5-0, have a run here in the third, and now the bases loaded with 1 out for Lorenzo Cain. He grounded out to short in the second inning.
Lorenzo's 1 for 3 with them loaded this year.
Boy, I'd like to have that pitch back. 0-1.
Just pulled off at a hair. Better off swinging early in the count with the bases full. Hellickson wants to get ahead. With Loney, the first baseman, way back at first base, back from Hosmer. Hosmer can get a little bit bigger lead, get down there and get a piece of that middle infielder if he does hit one on the ground.
And a save by Lobaton. That saved a run with Escobar at third base. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Okay, Lobaton, see how he turned that glove, fingers down. That's a nice job of blocking it and making sure you keep it in front. Not necessarily trying to pick it out of the dirt and catch it. He's just trying to do what he did.
Hellickson is really slowed down in this inning.
You know, with the success he's had with his changeup, Lorenzo can't really expect a fastball. He's going to have to guard against that changeup a little bit too.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Joe Madden was just saying to his pitching coach, Jim Hickey. He is really slowing down, and now he and Lobaton are on the same page, so they're going to talk it over. At times, that's deliberate by the pitcher just to kind of gather himself. Other times, it shows maybe a lack of confidence in the way his stuff is working.
Got that right. That's body language for, I'm not so sure right here. Hitters can pick up on that, but you got to come through with a big hit here and put a little bit of that anxiety on him. But make him a little bit more uncomfortable here.
Fouled away again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Lorenzo yelling at himself with both of those foul balls. Pitches that he normally drives into right center field.
Yeah, that ball got deep on him. You want to get that bat head out sooner.
Johnson opened the inning with a home run. With 1 out, Escobar singled, then Butler singled. Hosmer walked to load the bases. Just outside.
Ooh, yeah, he eyeballed that. But with the bases loaded, you can't take one looking. You got to be able to hack. Don't let him send you back. But that was a good take.
Again, fouled away.
Okay, changeup that was elevated. They might try to go back with the fastball on him here because he missed a couple of them and fouled them back. Tells me Lorenzo might be thinking off speed. Well, he's checking out them outfielders. Hosmer over there at first base wants to get down there and break it up.
Get that call, so he's just missing the corners, and Lorenzo has filled out the count.
A lot of guys are swinging at that, especially with them loaded up.
Boy, that looked a lot closer than it was on the grid.
Sure did. Oh, he laid off of that one.
And even the Rays, their coaching staff, shaking their heads in the third base dugout.
It's going to be the turning point in the game here.
Lorenzo is going to step out for a moment. Seemed like Hellickson may have had the right idea. Lorenzo reacted as though he was not expecting a pitch in, maybe looking out over the plate. So we've seen a pitch away, now a pitch in. And another foul ball. And I tell you, Lorenzo hasn't had a bad swing yet on all 4 of his foul balls.
No, and every one he's fouled off have been elevated. So Hellickson's living dangerously right here. Good 7-pitch at bat going. The more you foul off, the more confidence you gain. See if he can capitalize. Hellickson doesn't want to walk him. Moose is on deck.
And a foul ball.
Didn't mean to do it.
Got to get with Alex and figure out how to get that ball in play.
Like
oh, that one hit the bat.
Yeah. He couldn't get out of the way of that. Just those batting gloves for a knock up the middle.
This is the 9th pitch of the at-bat. And it's grounded to short. Escobar, Zobrist close at first, but out. And Kane frustrated that he just missed so many pitches in that at-bat. And slams his helmet to the grass. And the Royals get just one. (5-1) as we welcome in Royals Vice President Mike Swanson, who is a veteran of the game, so he brought his jacket. I knew it was going to cool down. I didn't think it was going to cool down this quickly.
I got a glimpse of Weather Channel before I came down.
Thanks to the Weather Channel and our radars and our devices on our phones. And
well, those flags on the Hall of Fame blowing in gave it away for me too.
From that direction, yeah. Well, Swanee's here to talk about what we have coming up on Friday night, when the Chicago White Sox will be here, and it's one of the most enjoyable things we do every year to benefit Royals charities, the broadcast auction.
It's one of the favorite things that everybody does here, and just putting the specials together, all the items that fans have a chance to bid on, is so much fun for everybody. And I work closely on the one with the broadcast experience, where fans can bid on an opportunity to come out and hang out with you guys. They can sit in the dugout with Ned when he does his pregame meeting with the media, and then ask him a couple of questions afterwards, and come in after the game's over with. Hopefully it's a W, and they can sit in on Ned's postgame, and in the interim basically get a tour of the whole facility and get to come out to the TV truck, get to come up in the booth with you guys, get to have dinner with you and HUD, which having dinner with HUD's always an experience anyway. So watch him pound it. And,
find a bib, though.
That's
Make
right.
sure.
That's right. Keep all fingers away. No, I'm kidding. It's not like that at all. But no, it's a fun night for everybody. You get to see all the personalities that you listen to and watch on TV nightly. I think it's a good time. It's a great bid item.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Luke Scott, and it's kind of a source of pride for us here in the booth, because usually we go neck and neck with the dinner with George, and now that has turned into a very special item this year, because typically it was coming to the ballpark and hanging out with George in a suite.
Exactly.
Oh my, that ball needs a hook and in a hurry. Not quite in time. Luke Scott hits the 3rd home run for the Rays tonight, and now they have scored in 4 straight innings against Luis Mendoza. And for Luke Scott, who just came off the DL last night, that's his first.
You know, for obvious reasons, since I'm up here in the booth, I was hoping for a 1-2-3 inning, and we could get a few sales made and then get out of it. But unfortunately, Luke Scott didn't see it that way.
No, and he got fully extended on that baby. And he drove that, and didn't need no wind for that one.
No, we could have used about 10 more mile an hour is what we could have used from the north.
Swanee, we've been saying ever since the information came out on the broadcast auction that it's dinner with George Brett on location with a date to be determined. And boy, we got some great news on what and when that's going to be tonight.
We have some information. You can ink it in now and start bidding Friday night. It's going to be you and 5 of your friends, which is a party of 6. It will have the opportunity to have dinner with George at the Capitol Grill down on the Country Club Plaza. The night has been selected. It's Wednesday, May the 22nd. It'll be at 6 p.m. And fans who bid on this and win the bid are going to have the opportunity to hear stories at the Capitol Grill and with their award-winning offerings and sit down with George, the former Royals Joe Randa, John Wathen, and Jason Kendall.
So it's more than a party of 6.
It's more than a party of 6. It's going to be a party. And believe me, if you get to sit down at the Capitol Grill with George and all these guys, you're going to be in for a long night of stories and being regaled in a lot of items. So you will have a blast. This sounds like a great time. I may be sitting at another table just kind of peeking in.
There'll be a few stories told.
There will be.
And we thank the Capitol Grill for offering a deal like that, especially the private dining room.
How about the auction item that has the video games played in the clubhouse with Moose and Haas?
That was one of the.
Where'd that come from?
Well, that came from Moose and Haas. Those guys, Tim Collins, Haas, Moose, Greg Holland, Gerard Dyson, Lorenzo Kane, all those guys. They even travel the video games with them now, and it keeps them out of trouble. It gives them a little time to relax, and you can see the guys, if you get here early enough in the afternoon before they have to go in and do video work and go down in the cage, they're getting their game on down in the clubhouse. Some guys are playing cards and some guys are playing the video games. But the game's changed a little bit, since your day in the clubhouse,
right.
Back when you had an Atari and you were playing Miss Pac-Man and all that.
Nintendo.
It's changed just a little bit. And for this to be an auction item and have somebody bid on it and come in and hang out with those two guys. And when you say you're hanging out with those two guys, this ball club is so close and they have so much fun. You're not just going to be with Haas and Moose. You're going to see a lot of the guys. You're going to have a good time with it.
Swanee, thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me up here.
The breaking news on the George Brett dinner. I still think we have a good shot, though, for the broadcast experience.
Let's do it. We're going to bid. We're going to outbid everything tonight. We got to go after George.
6-1 Rays. They've scored in 4 straight innings.
Thanks, Mike.
Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. 6-1, and that's also close to the temperature, 61, and dropping into the 50s at least tonight. And we asked you at the top of the broadcast in our Sprint Unlimited Answers question, who is your pick to hit tonight? 23% going with Alex Gordon. All 9 got votes. The Unlimited Answers sweepstakes presented by Sprint. You can vote in tonight's Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. And if you're not familiar with the Crown Club seats, that would be those 3 rows right behind Mike Moustakas in front of that green concrete barrier wall. You are right in the game down there. In the air to center field. Jennings back, and now the wind pushes it in. And Moustakas is out number 1. He's 1 for 2.
You know, when you get a chance to sit in those seats, you can see the break on the ball. You know, it's a whole different look than when you're sitting up in the stands a little bit higher. That's why all the baseball scouts like to sit down low, so they can see the breaking balls. They can tell, you know, the speed of the fastball a little bit better. Great seats, nice and comfortable.
And we were talking about George last half inning, and I don't know if it's his line or if he just uses it quite a bit. I heard it first from him, but he referred to the dirt rule, and that the farther you get away from the infield dirt, the easier this game looks. And when you get down close like that, really begin to appreciate the speed of this game. Francoeur was nicked on that pitch by Hellickson, and he'll go down to first with 1 out. Even as many games as we do, at least once or twice during spring training, I like to try and sit close to the game. And even routine ground balls, I mean, you really have an appreciation of how quickly everything's moving. You get behind home plate and you'll really be impressed by the velocity that the pitchers are throwing to the hitters.
Also, if you get a chance to come a little bit early and watch batting practice, that can be a good experience for you too. And the lower you get down there, you can see the speed of the ball that comes off of the bat of these guys. Throwing at 60 miles an hour or 55 is right down the middle, and these guys, they're big and strong and they hit it hard. And you're taking ground balls as an infielder out there. There's some times when I just had to say, hey, don't hit me any practice balls. I got to watch them off the bat here so I don't get one in the head. It's a fast game. Ball. It hurts. Frenchie is a little bit fortunate. Hit his uniform on that last one, so he's going to get away with a hit by pitch. His second of the year he's been hit, but when they hit your jersey, that's a bonus hit by pitch. No skin.
One and one on Perez. He'll hit a shot to Longoria at third in the second inning, and Longoria first blocked it, didn't try and catch it, just used his body as a wall and then picked it up and threw out Perez. Two and one. Now, defenders will tell you that they love playing behind a guy that throws strikes and a guy that works quickly. And Hellickson has thrown strikes tonight, but he's not working quickly at all. But that hasn't harmed the defense. They've made several impressive plays behind him, including turning a double play to help Hellickson get out of the third. He was in a mess with the bases loaded, 1 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tell you, that play Jennings made in the first inning off of Gordon's bat turned the momentum back in his favor. Because if that falls, that's a double, maybe a triple.
Three balls, 2 strikes. And if that play wasn't impressive enough, And Hellickson got a good play on the infield against the very next hitter with their Escobar throwing out our Escobar. Broken bat, and that ball's just dying in left center field, and it will drop for a base hit. So with one out, a hit batter and a single, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Yep, that wind knocked that down for Salvi.
Let's take a look at those defensive plays, our AT&T Uverse reverse replays. And this was the first batter that Hellickson faced.
Man, he ran a long way too. He's playing Gordon to pull a little bit. Hellickson said thank you for that. And then this bare hand play here by Escobar, man, that was fantastic. Pick your pitcher up with those plays.
And a fastball strike to Elliott Johnson, facing his former Rays teammate for the first time. Johnson took him deep into the right field bullpen, his first as a Royal. And then with 1 out, the Royals loaded the bases, but after a long battle with Lorenzo Cain, Hellickson was able to get a ground ball and a double play. That's down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, Ned Yost went with Elliott Johnson in last night's game against his former team because Ned knows from experience that when he was a player for Milwaukee and then he got traded to the Braves and then they played Milwaukee, he wanted to play against his former team so badly that and he didn't get a chance to play for him, and it made him upset at the manager. He was upset for a while that the manager wouldn't let him play against his former team. So he remembers that from his playing days and went with Elliott Johnson last night, and it was a pretty good call. That's why he's back in there today. He's already homered.
Still 1-2.
Now you don't have to have played Major League Baseball, to be a manager. There's been some successful managers that never played big league ball. They played pro ball, but they never played Major League ball, and they're successful. But Ned knows the feel of his players. And change-up fooled him. Johnson not happy.
Hellickson's 3rd strikeout, all swinging on a changeup tonight. So it's Alex with 2 on and 2 out. Lost the extra base hit on the play by Jennings we just showed you. And then he was the strikeout victim of Hellickson back in the 3rd on a change. And into right field for a base hit. So Alex continues to hit with runners in scoring position. He makes it a 6-2 game. He was hitting .500 with runners in scoring position before that hit, and he drives his team leading 18th run of the year.
All right, to open our show for tonight, we showed a graphic of the come from behind wins so far that the Royals have had in their 14 wins. 9 comeback wins, okay, and 10 different players with the go-ahead runs batted in. And that tells these guys that even though it's 6-2 and it's in the fourth inning here, they have a chance to win this game. So not one guy in there doesn't believe they can't win. And if you don't have any comeback wins, then you're a little bit like, oh well, let's just sit back and get beat here. But it's not the case this year.
Ball 1-2, Alcides Escobar. And some of the other things we discussed at the top of the show, the similarities in some of the major stats. When you think the Royals have pitched way better this year than they did in the first month. Well, not necessarily. Are they scoring more runs? by May 1st this year compared to last year? Well, yeah, 0.3 of a run per game. But the hits they're getting are coming in big spots, and they've just developed a knack for winning games and a knack for scoring late, which they did not do last year at this point. And the Royals they only trail Boston and Detroit as far as hitting with runners. Well, this is batting average altogether, they're third, but much better than that with runners in scoring position. Our Toyota League leaders for tonight. Escobar pulls it on the ground, and Longoria is going to flip it over to second to end the inning. So the Royals trying to chip away. They get a 2-out RBI from Alex Gordon to make it 6-2 at the end of 4.
Catch up with Joe Maddon, one of the unique managers in this game who believes in playing the game the right way, but also feels like you got to have fun. He says, I like the nonsense. It's good. Don't take yourself so seriously. So he had a DJ in the clubhouse already this year, a magician. He's got, some guests from the zoo, and recently he called it a chill out day and had penguins in the clubhouse. So you never know what Joe Maddon's going to do, but he says that you've got to play this game hard. And recently it was Joe Maddon Gnome Night. And that gnome, by the way, guys, has traveled with the real Joe Maddon on this trip. I saw it in the visiting clubhouse in his office today. He said it was in the plank position. It was laying face down on his desk. He said he'll stay there for now. He's 2-3 in this position on this road trip. It's about winning series, not winning games. He said guys need to be professional, but don't think you're so hot. Have a good time. It's just a game.
I'll tell you what, that's worked for him in Tampa Bay. Bruce Chen's first pitch is lifted to Kane in center field, and Matt Joyce is out. Joyce 1 for 3 with a home run. Oh, and Joe Maddon took over the then Devil Rays. They were one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. Now they're one of the best. And over the last 5 years, Joe Maddon's Rays, remember those lowly Tampa Bay Devil Rays in that no-win situation in the American League East?
Dismal.
They have averaged 92 wins over the last 5 years. Only the Yankees and the Phillies have done better over the last 5 years than the Rays. I would have bet you anything and everything I own if you'd have told me 10 years ago that someday the Tampa Bay Rays would be one of the dominant forces in the American League East.
No one can believe it, but when you draft right and you get them pitchers, it's going to be a test of it, friends.
And he passes the test in foul territory to get Zobrist. Now, you spent some time around Joe Maddon because prior to getting the Rays manager job, he was the bench coach for the Angels.
That's right. In 1994, Buck Rogers was the manager for the Angels, and he got fired after the first month and Marcel Lashman came on, and he was a longtime Angel pitching coach, Marcel Lashman, friends with then general manager Bill Bavasi. And Joe Madden had been in their farm system for years. He was a coach down there, and Lashman brought Madden up to the big leagues. And when Joe came up, he totally changed the whole climate in our clubhouse. Because he started, it's the first time we were going with computer readouts, and the computer had just come in. And in baseball, most of the time when you would look on the board as a player in spring training, you'd go up there and look, and it would have in writing stretching at 8:05, PFP at 9:30, game, extra field, everything was just written. And he started bringing these computer readouts of sheets that had all this stuff on it, and we had to go up and study that for 10-15 minutes and say what so Joe, he changed the environment. He had a lot of enthusiasm. Some of the veterans were a little bit leery of that, and I said, no, that's a welcome thing, guys. We need a coach with some energy. So he was the first base coach, and he had his stopwatch, and he'd like to time the hitters, our hitters, when on contact, all the way to first base. He would time them, and then he would put the top 3 times on the board the next day on this computer sheet. And we started feeding off of that. We started competing. Guys started hustling more down that line because they wanted the top time. And so, he made it fun, just like he's done with the Rays. So since he evolved.
And Longoria has his second hit. He's on with 2 outs. So let's go back to Joel.
The interesting thing about Joe Madden, Ryan and Rex, is that he says he likes the nonsense and he doesn't believe in being so serious about stuff. But he said it only works with the right guys. You need players that are going to be professional. This isn't just a bunch of hoodlums in there that don't care. They've got to show up on time. They've got to get their work in. We've seen Joe Madden in the past pull guys out of games or heard about that weren't hustling. So he believes in all those fundamentals, but he just has a different belief in the way of going about living the everyday grind of baseball.
Fouled away by Loney, 0-1.
And that's where a creative mind comes in from the top, from the boss. Lots of times, James Shields, different characters in the clubhouse will develop that environment in the clubhouse. But when a manager does, it's free game. Guys feel loose. They feel a little bit more loose. Hey, if the boss says so, we can do it.
Loney is 1 for 2 with an RBI. 1 ball, 1 strike. And there are 2 ways to go about disciplining or setting down guidelines for a team. There could be a very strict manager where you've got a whole handbook full of do's and don'ts, or Joe Madden, who allows the players to police themselves and trust that they will make good decisions. Because if they make bad decisions, it's going to affect their playing time. It might affect how long they're with the organization. But he really trusts his players.
So I asked Longoria, as Joe Madden's famous for setting the dress code for a certain trip. I said, have you guys done anything special early this year? He goes, yeah, Joe usually lets us know 3 or 4 days before the trip so guys can go buy the stuff or get the right clothes that they all wear on the road. And he said that Majestic made some Letterman's jackets for him, real nice Letterman's jackets. And he said they all sported those. They all wore them on a trip. They have different outfits for different occasions, and that kind of keeps it lively. And before a road trip, they always go, what's the theme going to be?
And nowadays, for a night game, some people get to the ballpark 11, noon, 1 o'clock. He has his American Legion days, referring to the Youth Baseball League, as Loney strikes out, where guys aren't allowed to get there until about an hour and a half before the game. Beautiful. Scoreless 5th inning for Chen, and the first scoreless inning for the Rays tonight. Arlington, Texas. Chris Sale pitching for Chicago. Jeff Baker takes him deep to left field. And now a 2-2 tie in the top of the 6th inning. White Sox at 10-15. The Rangers are 17-9, and the White Sox will follow the Rays into Kauffman Stadium. Tampa Bay, the series with Tampa Bay wraps up tomorrow with a day game, and then Chicago here Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon.
The Rays, they head out to Denver. Maybe the weather will change for them, get a little bit warmer. It's cold now.
Billy Butler is singled twice. So he's tacked on 19 points to his batting average. And Hellickson misses inside, 2 balls and no strikes. So the Royals are down by 4, but it hasn't been easy for Hellickson. He's given up 7 hits and he's hit a batter, so 8 base runners for the Royals in the first 4 innings. But they have left 6 on base. And now Hellickson falls behind 3-0. It is currently 56 degrees at the ballpark. 3-1. I believe I saw 85 on my car thermometer when I was driving in today.
You know, you were right. Earlier, early in the weekend, last weekend, you were saying that we'll see spring, summer, and winter in 1 week here. And you're right on so far.
Pretty good chance for rain at some point tomorrow, and then talking about Thursday night into Friday, rain and snow. Big swing by Billy, still 3 balls and 2 strikes, but back to your point, by the time we get to Sunday, it's going to be in the low to mid 60s again. There are some of the prepared fans tonight, and we were talking about the ones earlier that left their house and it was nice and warm, and thought they're going to have a nice comfortable evening at the ballpark, showing up in shorts, short sleeves. Billy lines it to left field. That's his 3rd hit, and he'll jog into second base with a leadoff double, his 3rd of the year.
Billy needs a big night like that. Get that average back up there where he belongs, around the 300 mark. Okay, now he knew he didn't hit it enough to get it out of the park, so he really got on his horse. He says, I want to get me a double here. Okay, now he's got a new one now. Oh, looks like a little air guitar he just gave. It's like he's been creative. He's trying to find the one that works for him, I think.
It's a thing to do in the game today. I mean, a lot of teams are doing this. And the Rays, we haven't seen much of it, but they do a mock bow and arrow, which goes back to Fernando Rodney. Is that how he celebrates his saves?
I think so. And, you know, of course, the Rangers have been doing that for several years now, doing little things. But Billy, so far in his 3rd hit now, he's got a little air guitar working right there. He had a couple other ones in his other hits.
And don't let his age fool you. Billy's 26, but he's a throwback when it comes to music. 1 and 2 on Hosmer, so he might have been doing a little Leonard Skinner there. You never know.
Could have been. Now there's Longoria's. Here's his.
There you go. There's the arrow. Reach behind his head to get the arrow. Right. Put it on,
and he did it calmly with no expression on his face.
Hosmer has flied to center, and he has walked. foul tipped a breaking ball down and in and strikes out, and that is 4 for Hellickson. And now look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. What team led the American League in comeback wins last season? Well, I know who led the league in one-run games, all the close games, and all the extra inning games. How many of those were comeback victories? I'm talking about the Baltimore Orioles, who had a record season as far as one-run games go, one-run victories.
I'm going to guess the Oakland A's.
Jeremy Hellickson's 2 biggest outs tonight are when he got Lorenzo Cain to ground into a double play in the 3rd inning. And now Lorenzo gets him here in the 5th. So Butler will score. Cain wants a triple. And he's in there with an RBI. It's a 6-3 game. And that should come as no surprise, Hud, because he just missed a few pitches in his last at-bat against Hellickson.
With him loaded up. That would have been nice if he could have done that then. But hey, look, chipping away little by little. A mistake was made. You see it in the middle of our Fox Tracks box. And Lorenzo put on a nice inside-out swing on that. Almost like he was planning to drive it that way. Thirteenth RBI on the season for him.
And now the Moose calls with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. And line to center field. Jennings had to go back to get it. And Moustakas makes it a 2-run game.
All right, Moose is on the comeback. Squaring up that baseball. And so are the Royals. Here they come. Nice slow take back with his hands. Got to get something going back to come forward. And hit on. Jennings almost played that into extra bases there in center field. Tough ball to judge, but that wind knocked it down.
And Francoeur chasing a low pitch. And Escobar has it go off his glove. The wind was really helping out the Rays there. I think when Francoeur first made contact, he thought it was going to end up in the seats, but the wind kept it on the track.
Okay, really very difficult play right there for a backhander. You're right, the wind kept it. Now, there's a lot of elements to every game in baseball, unless you're indoors. I mean, there's not a lot of elements to an indoor facility, but hitters will tell you that the wind is the thing that they hate the most, unless it's blowing straight out. That affects the ball, it affects everything.
0-2 on Francoeur. He was hit by a pitch in the 4th inning and scored on Alex Gordon's 2-out RBI single. One ball, 2 strikes. Even when Hellickson had a 5-0 lead, just never got the feeling that he was in control of the game. He's been working around base runners all night, and the Royals have scored 4 runs in the last 3 innings. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that 3rd inning, when he threw 25 pitches, that's the inning the Royals would like to have back. They got 1 run on Johnson's home run, and they had the bases loaded with 1 out, but Hellickson got a ground ball and a double play and got out of it. Still 1-2. Struck him out with a fastball. 5 for Hellickson, but the Royals continue to chip away. Kane and Moustakas drive in runs in the 5th, and the Royals are just down by 2. For the 6th inning, we hope to join us for the first summer fireworks of the season. That's coming up Friday against the White Sox. Day after the game for a fireworks show courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Plus it's Buck Night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks are just $1. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets for summer fireworks and Buck Night. 2nd inning for Bruce Chen. The Rays scored all 6 of their runs against Mendoza in the first 4. And then Chen took over in the 5th and pitched the first scoreless inning for a Royals pitcher tonight. And now he's ahead of Escobar 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar has popped to second and grounded into a double play. Bruce doing what he normally does. It's especially important tonight as it's getting cold down into the 50s. Working quickly.
Working quickly and changing speeds, arm angles, location, everything. He'll throw the kitchen sink at you. And he's a nice contrast between the hard throwers that Ned has in the bullpen.
Escobar has a leadoff single. Now both teams have 9 hits. That's Escobar's first hit tonight. I want to remind you again, also coming up on Friday, our Royals Charities broadcast auction. And one of those items includes going to Worlds of Fun with Bruce Chen. Who is Worlds of Fun? You and 2 friends can experience all the thrills with a VIP package. One of Kansas City's hot spots for the kids, for the whole family. Worlds of Fun. And that also includes 4 Kia Diamond Club tickets. So not just the Worlds of Fun, but tickets to a game and a premium parking pass. 0-2 on Luke Scott. So the Worlds of Fun date and a game will be mutually agreed upon. And of course, it's always weather permitting. And if you weren't with us earlier and you've been hearing us talking about the different auction items all week, we just found out that the Capitol Grill on the Plaza has stepped up big for the Royals and for Royals Charities. That's where, if you're the winner, you will have dinner with George Brett. Now Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You and 5 friends. Dinner with George Brett and some of his friends. And by the way, that would be Joe Randa, John Wathan, and Jason Kendall in a private dining room at the Capitol Grill on the Plaza. Some great items. It's coming up on Friday. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Luke Scott. Outside, 3-2. Escobar has only attempted 1 stolen base, and he was thrown out. Royals the last 2 years, and Salvador Perez has a lot to do with this, they have really shut down the Rays running game, at least against the Royals. Down and away for ball 4. So Scott comes back after being behind. No balls, 2 strikes. And Tampa Bay has 2 on with nobody out. I can remember, and you can too, going into Tropicana Field when they had Carl Crawford and B.J. Upton, and the Rays could hit for power and would just be zipping around the bases. I mean, it was just never a comfortable game. The Rays now, in their last 7 games against the Royals, have had just 4 stolen bases.
Well, Unell, he's missed the last 4 games before coming into this series with some right hamstring tightness, so I wouldn't expect him to be running.
So 2 on, nobody out to Lobaton. He walked and scored in the 2nd inning, and he's grounded out.
I wouldn't put it past Joe Madden to bunt here with nobody out.
Hosmer coming in on the right side, and I think Bruce Chen, he wasn't trying to pick off Escobar. He's trying to get Lobaton to tip his hand.
That means, see if he was going to square around to bunt so they get a little better idea.
And he will square around, and he will bunt it foul.
Good time to bunt, get a couple guys in the scoring position. The Royals are going to come back. They have been all year long. They believe they can win, so move the runners.
Bunted back to Bruce, but he'll play it to first. Johnson covers, and Lobaton gets Escobar to third and moves Scott up to second. And that'll bring up Kelly Johnson, who doubled in a run in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 2. Perez came up throwing again. If you were with us last night, we were reminding you that Salvador Perez 2 years ago made his big league debut in St. Petersburg against the Rays, and he almost threw for the cycle, if you will. He picked off a runner at first, he picked off a runner at third, and he almost picked off a runner at second in his major league debut. No balls and 2 strikes. So the Rays will never forget that. And when they get to a base, they pretty much drop anchor.
Yep, that goes around even in the team meetings. So in case you don't know, we'll tell you, be careful.
Still 0-2 on Johnson. Now Sal wants to go out and discuss the 0-2 pitch with Bruce. Johnson has some power. He has 3 home runs this year, but 3 years ago he had a huge season with Arizona. He had 26 home runs and had 36 doubles. He doesn't look like a guy that's going to hit 26 home runs, but he did. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's wiry strong.
Came up through the Braves minor league system originally with Jeff Francoeur.
You look at him squinting up there at the plate because it's cold now and the wind's blowing. Very tough to see. Your eyeballs dry out in the cold weather. Look at him. It's almost like it's a sunny day out there with he's squinting his eyes, trying to keep the wind out.
Across the knees, he got the call. Well, Bruce needed a strikeout, and he got it. And there are 2 outs.
You say it's going to take some good pitching here to get out of this jam, and he just put it right where he wanted it. Just keeping it out of the middle. Now, Ned, he's coming out to talk about strategy here when it comes to Jennings. Jennings is coming up with first base open. Ned's probably saying, hey, look, you know, what do you want to do? You want to put him on and force him out at any base? You got Joyce coming up, who's a left-handed batter, and face him. So sometimes managers will come out and they'll give the options to a veteran pitcher like Bruce.
Jennings, and it's not a big sample size, but he's hitting lefties a little better than righties. He is 0 for 3 in the pass against Bruce Chen. 2nd and 3rd, 2 down. And Bruce jumps ahead with strike 1. Jennings struck out twice against Mendoza, who went 4 and gave up all 6 Tampa Bay runs. Jennings also had a sac fly. Strike 2. Ball, 2 strikes. The inning began with a single, then a walk, a sac bunt, but runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. Chen just got a big strikeout against Johnson and now ahead of Desmond Jennings. And that's Bruce Chen. And a little emotion with a pump of the fist. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. Bruce gets 2 strikeouts against Johnson and Jennings. Royals are down by 2 to the bottom of the 6th.
Elliott Johnson says, look, you guys traded me, and I'm not real pleased about it, but I'm happy with my new team. Take that. 4th inning. Gordon comes up and chips one in. Slowly but surely, the Royals starting to creep back in this game, just down 2 runs, and they weren't done. 5th inning, Billy Butler says, okay, I'll get it started. I'll get a double. Lorenzo Cain says, I'll get you in. I'll better you by 1 base. He gets a triple. And then Moose, nice sacrifice fly, brings him in. So here we are, 6-4. Bruce Chin doing his thing, holding the opponents down until his guys can muster enough wins. This is the formula of how you come back. The pitching's got to hold down the opponents. And we got a new lefty.
Chevy call to the bullpen. This is Jake McGee with Perez, Johnson, and Gordon coming up. And McGee throws a strike to Sal. So Hellickson pitches the minimum to qualify for a win. He never was in control of the game, even with a big lead. And the Royals left 6 on base in his 5 innings. And a good start to the 6th. 2 hits for Salvador Perez. He had 4 hits all year against Tampa Bay last season. And he already has 4 hits in the first 2 games of this series. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Chris Hash from KCMO. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Chris will win $100. That's because Mike Moustakas' home run last night was worth $2,300. So that cleared the pot. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park in this inning, Chris wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals.
Yeah, I bet the Royals are happy to see Hellickson leave, and McGee is going to come in here. Ooh, not a bad idea to bunt for a base hit there. McGee's got a fastball. He'll rush it up there anywhere from the low 90s to the mid 90s. He's got a slider, and he'll also cut his fastball a little. So he's got a little bit more depth to the slider when he wants to. He'll add and subtract speeds to that pitch. So after that little bunt attempt there, Longoria, he's going to go back in 3rd. Now he's going to creep back in again.
And he's going to bunt again. And a push bunt. Loney catches it on the fly, but Perez picked that up and is able to dive back and avoid a double play.
Okay, he tried the 3rd base line. He got too much of the ball here this time. And he was doing that for a base hit. It wasn't like a sacrifice attempt, but the barrel was down below his hands. And when that happens, you're going to pop it up. Keep that barrel up above the hands to direct the ball downward. You might have had a chance to move a runner anyway.
Alex, one of the best in the league with runners in scoring position. Singled in Francoeur in the 4th. Fouls the pitch away from McGee. And Alex lost an extra base hit on perhaps the best defensive play of the game tonight when Desmond Jennings ran from center field into deep left center field and made a backhand play to take at least a double away from it. One ball, 1 strike.
Okay, on contact, I'm sure Gordon thought he had an extra base hit. You got a blazing center fielder that can really fly. Turns that into an out.
Almost hit him. 2-1. Royals are tied for 2nd in the major leagues with 9 come from behind victories. And tonight, trying to come back from a couple of 5-run deficits. They have been down 5-0 and 6-1. Broke his bat and drops it into right center field. Perez stops at 2nd, and the tying run is on with 1 out.
And I don't know if Alex is the kind of guy that's going to give his guys in the dugout a little sign. Do you think he is?
That's not quite his style, is it?
No. I don't think.
Well, there it is right there. His sign is a squint.
Yeah.
He chews his gum once and he squints.
Salvi didn't give him any love in the dugout either. I think they're more focused on their comeback attempt here.
And now Escobar, who did some of his best work last year against the Rays, hitting about .430. 1 for 3 tonight with a single to center field. Over the outside, strike one from McGee. Hard throwing lefty. That was 95 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's got a short little arm stroke here. He kind of short arms the ball. Ball gets on you in a hurry. Esky likes to drive that ball to the right side. See if he can get something out that way. Yeah, he says, I like that, but that's a little too far off the dish.
And that is through the right side. Perez will be held as Joyce has a good arm, and he was shallow in right field. And once again, the Royals have it all lined up as they did in the third inning. Bases loaded, 1 out.
All right, I knew he was going to look out there to see if he can get a pitch, and sure enough, look at those eyes. Stays right on the ball. Head barely even moved. Give him a ball outside on that outer half. He knows how to do it. Shorten it up and get it by that second baseman. Now they've got action.
Oh, Jim Hickey out to the mound, joined by the entire infield. Trying to figure out what to do with Billy Butler, who is 3 for 3 with a run scored.
I guarantee you, Hickey said, look, keep the ball down and away from Billy, and maybe he'll try to pull it and roll it into a double play. That's what Hickey's trying to get Jacob McGee to do to him.
So 2 singles, a double, and a run scored. He's only faced McGee once, and McGee struck him out.
Okay, cutters, sliders in.
Well, that pitch was in. Now, normally when you say, you know, a hitter's only faced a pitcher once, you figure, well, he doesn't know a whole lot about this guy, but Billy has amazing recall. I bet if you pulled him aside right now, he could go through the whole pitching sequence that one time he faced Jake McGee. Singles from Perez, Gordon, and Escobar. Tying run at second base with 1 out. Royals now have 12 hits tonight. 0-2. He at 96 with that fastball.
It's just a little bit tardy on it. Was Billy's swing. So McGee might try to get him off the plate here. Billy, you saw the career numbers with him loaded up. Just 1 slam. He hit that earlier in Philly this year. He'll take a lousy single, try to tie it.
And a shot back to McGee. Everybody had to freeze, and the out that he takes is to first. Well, there wasn't a whole lot of speed going from third to home or home to first. And right now the Rays' biggest concern is whether McGee is okay. I thought if he was going to get 1 out, he'd come to the plate, but he went to first, and it's a 1-run game.
Wow, too bad. He stuck his glove out there. That would have been a clean single up the middle. Now they're checking to see. I thought it hit his glove in the open part of it, maybe up in the palm. Yeah, it hit him in the palm of his hand. Okay, but he had plenty of time to just turn and get the runner at home, and you could see Lobaton. He's yelling at him. Escobar is. Throw it to Lobaton. But he wasn't paying attention. He just wanted to get it out there. Now there's two, but still more damage could be done.
So Butler gets an RBI, his 16th. And now the tying run is at third. Go ahead run at second for Hosmer. 0 for 2 with a walk.
This is a little bit better matchup for Hosmer. Even though this guy throws hard, Hosmer a little bit more used to hitting lefties that have big breaking balls. So McGee's going to come after him. And so far on the season, in 15 at bats, Hosmer has 4 hits off lefties, a couple RBIs. I'd like to add to that one here. It's nice, easy, short swing on it, something up.
Got a good swing. The Rays scored the game's first 5 runs. The Royals have scored the game's last 4 runs. .97 miles an hour. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He's going to try to power through Hosmer. Says, I got one by him. I'm going to get one by him again. Take your chances.
Left side. And Escobar bobbles it. The Royals tie the game.
All right. Remember how cold it's getting all of a sudden. Now the glove's getting hard. Escobar hit him in the palm, in the dead part of the pocket there. I mean, it's not in his pocket. It hit him in the palm, and it just bounced right out of there. Escobar saw it up there at third base. Gordon comes home to score to tie the game. And here they come. Simple formula. Stay steady. Stay at your approach. See balls you can hit. Don't try to hit for the downs. But pitching by Bruce has been able to help him get back in it. Pitching 2 nice shutout innings.
And all that good defense early in the game for the Rays. And now a poor decision when McGee went to first instead of home on Butler, and now an error. Charged to Escobar. Now for a moment, Lobaton stood up and put his right hand out with 4 fingers, meaning intentional walk. And then after thinking it through, the Rays decided to pitch to Kane. I'd already written intentional walk in my scorecard. Lorenzo is 1 for 3. And that's blooped into left center field. And it's going to fall for a base hit. The Royals take the lead as Escobar comes down from third, and Kane has driven in 2.
Royals again have the confidence, no matter how many runs they get down, to peck away, peck away, peck away. Now that wind helped that one too, knocked it down. So the change of weather here in Kansas City so far has fallen in the Royals' favor.
And now Mike Moustakas, who has driven in a run and has a 5-game hitting streak, and 203 never looked better to him. Had his average up over 200 finally here on May the 1st, and McGee misses down and away for ball 1. And one of his outs tonight was well hit, a line drive sacrifice fly to center field. So the last 3 hitters, a line drive back to McGee, which he dropped and went to first instead of home, an error, and a bloop RBI from Kane when it looked like for a moment the Rays weren't going to pitch to him.
Bruce has hit the ball hard every time up. He's got a lot of admirers out there.
and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Royals were down 5-0. They batted in the bottom of the 3rd. They scored a run. The Rays came right back with a run in the 4th for a 6-1 lead. Royals answered in the bottom of the 4th. They scored 2 in the 5th and now 3 in the 6th. And that will land in the crowd behind the third base dugout. It's an empty seat and ends up back on the field again. 2-1. Hit him. Fastball at 95 got away from McGee. Moustakas hung in there as long as he could and then realized it wasn't a breaking ball.
I'm telling you, when Hellickson left the game, the Royals said good. Get him out. He was tricking us a little bit too much. Bring in somebody that's firm. And that's exactly what Joe Madden did. He brought in the kid McGee. Fastball, slider, doesn't have a big curveball that he uses. So really, you can look hard. That's what they've been doing.
3-2, had a good swing. Hosmer at third, reached on an error. Kane at first, drove in the go-ahead run. Kane runs, and Moustakas takes ball 4, and they're loaded up for Francoeur.
Second consecutive night, Royals have batted around, and that's going to be it for Jacob McGee. Moose is locked in right now. That pitch wasn't too far off the plate. He's really seeing the ball well.
So it's former Royal Kyle Farnsworth jogging in from the bullpen. Jeff Francoeur coming up. Bases loaded, 2 down. Royals lead by 1.
Royals on the comeback. They changed pitchers from Hellickson to McGee. And so far, the Royals have liked it. They got Hellickson out, and they're going to work. Escobar, nice base hit to the outfield. Oh, that would have tied the game up with that base hit had it gone through, but they'll take one. Hosmer says, all right, I'll test Yunel Escobar, and Uni booted it. And then Lorenzo Cain jammed it, and the wind knocked it down right in front of Kelly Johnson. Escobar scores 3 in the 6th inning, and they're not done. There's 2 outs. A chance for more with them all loaded up with Royals. Got a chance to give Bruce Chin a W and possibly more add on here with a little bit of insurance. Of course, there's a long way to go before we talk about a W.
Hard to believe it's only the bottom of the 6th inning. We've seen quite a game already tonight, and still 3 innings to go. Kyle Farnsworth with an ERA over 8. Pitched for the Royals in 2009-2010. 0-2 on Francoeur, who is 0 for 2 tonight, and he has scored a run. Hit by a pitch in the 4th inning by Hellickson, and scored on a single from Alex Gordon.
Fastball, slider, split finger. Mainly fastball, slider, but when he gets you 0-2, you never know if that split he's coming. However, Lobaton will have to be on guard because that's a ball that bounces. And Hosmer wants to come home with another run. Take him any way you can get him.
Francoeur has faced Farnsworth twice, 0 for 1 with a walk. On the ground, up the middle, into center field, and that will drive in 2 on an 0-2 pitch. The Royals have scored 5 in the 6th inning, and they lead by 3.
You just can't contain him. Frenzy hitting. Frenchie looking to shorten up his swing with 0-2, but that was a mistake by Farnsworth, obviously. He just threw an 0-2 cookie right down the middle. Got top spin on it. The rest is history. Steady climb. Hoping for another comeback.
And now back to where we started. Salvador Perez, who began the inning with a single and came around to score. Inside for ball 1. 2 hits for Perez, 4 in the series. He scored on the line shot that Billy Butler hit back to Jake McGee that went in and out of McGee's glove. And McGee decided to go to first rather than home. 1 ball, 1 strike. Five runs in the inning. Butler has an RBI. Kane has an RBI. Francoeur has 2. And 1 run has scored on the air by Escobar. One and 2.
Yeah, we've been talking about this the whole game. The fact that the comebacks have happened so much. 9 out of their 14 wins have been come from behind. And when in the 1st inning, Matt Joyce hit a home run just like in last night's game, and then followed up. Ben Zobrist hit a home run in the 1st inning, 2-0. I was saying, hey, Royals got them right where they want them. And they'll get so confident in there about coming back. That's what they'll be saying in the dugout. They'll be saying, hey, fellas, no sweat. We do this every night.
Strike 3. Perez strikes out and nods at home plate umpire Ted Barrett. 10 come to the plate, 5 score, 4 unearned because of the error. Royals by 3. Bruce Chen picked up for Luis Mendoza and pitched 2 scoreless innings after Mendoza gave up 6 in his 4 innings. In fact, the Rays scored in all 4 innings against Mendoza. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and at that point they had a 6-1 lead, and now the Royals have scored 8 unanswered runs. So Collins to face Matt Joyce, Ben Zobrist, and Evan Longoria in the 7th. Bruce Chen hits a scoreless 5th, got into trouble in the 6th with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, and struck out Johnson and Jennings, and that really gave the Royals a lift, and they rewarded Bruce with 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, Bruce, fantastic job. You can't make a comeback unless you got some middle relievers that can shut them down. Take Mendoza off the hook.
And a strike from Collins to Matt Joyce, who has homered in both games of the series, both times hitting a home run in the first inning. He is 1 for 3. 0-2.
You know, Mendoza, he didn't deserve the loss after his last start 19 days ago. He was a little bit straight up over the middle and elevated at times, you know, because he's a little bit rusty out there, but leave it to his offense to come back and take him off. Collins got to hold him down still. He's got the stuff, and the rest of the pen does, to win.
Look at that curve.
Woo. Man, that is what you call a jelly legger. That leg, sometimes on the hitter, it'll kind of buckle a little bit. That's a buckler. Look at that. Starts out about shoulder high. Heck, Joyce, he was trying to get out of the way of it. He thought it was going to hit him. Great depth on that curveball. It's a beauty.
And now Zobrist will bat right-handed, and he fouls the first pitch away.
Ooh-wee. Joyce has got to go. I think Collins' best pitch is his straight changeup after he throws some mid-90s fastballs. He's got a beauty. That curve's good too when it's working.
Hit well into center field, and Zobrist has a 2-hit game.
Okay, that was the straight changeup, Brian, and it stayed elevated. It was up. You're going to hit a changeup when it's a straight changeup. There's not a lot of movement to his pitch. It's a diversion from his fastball, so when it's elevated, it's a little bit easier to put into play.
Fans vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Fastball is high to Evan Longoria. Collins coming in with the short sleeves. When he went out to the bullpen when the game started, it was about 15 degrees warmer than it is right now. Temperatures into the mid-80s earlier today in Kansas City, and now we're in the mid-50s, heading toward the low 50s. Hit well into right center field. Francoeur and Kane in pursuit, and Francoeur has it go off of his glove. It stays in, and the runners advance to second and third.
Wow, Frenchie, he turned and ran. He knew that ball was hit pretty well, but he's getting up. That's good to see. He ran him right into the wall. Good inside out swing. Palm of his hand and popped right out of there. Oh, great effort. Just couldn't close it down.
Loney is 1 for 3. He drove in a run back in the third, and that run gave the Rays a 5-0 lead. Now the Rays are down by 3 in the 7th inning. Good curveball for a strike.
Okay, so we've seen a couple of balls now that the weather has changed about 30 degrees since it started. Balls have hit guys in the palm of their glove and they've dropped them because the leather's hard. Weather makes a difference in the game, conditions. But for it to change from mid 70s to low 50s, that'll do it.
And windy.
Very windy. Wind pushing out to right field now.
Collins jumps ahead, 1-2. Bruce Chen last inning got out of a 2nd and 3rd and 1 out with a couple of strikeouts. And Loney somehow got his bat on that ball, and Collins deflects it with his glove, and the Rays get 1 run back. It'll be a hit and an RBI for Loney, his 2nd run driven in the game. And now it's 9-7.
Look at that. I mean, Salvi was already trying to block that ball. Collins, nice effort there, but just couldn't square it up in his glove. Escobar would have had that. But you know, you can't tell a pitcher that. He's trying to field the ball. Okay, and Zobrist, you know, freezing on a liner right there, doing all he's got when he saw the ball down, changed his directions. No chance for an out.
And here's a very motivated hitter, Yunel Escobar. Nice save by Perez. As the Royals scored 5 in the bottom of the 6th to take the lead. Escobar committed an error. And if he made that play, it would have been a 1-run inning for the Royals. So 4 unearned runs because of the error.
Well, maybe Collins can talk him into grounding into a nice little double play. Here it was right here. 2-hopper. Okay. Talked about how cold it is. Hit right in the dead of his glove. Dead spot. He has grounded into 4 double plays that leads his team.
He has Longoria at 2nd, Loney at 1st. On the corner, 1-2.
Top for the big bender. Oh no, he stayed with the heater.
Hosmer backhands. Collins late to cover first base and no double play, and then he has to go diving to keep that ball from going to the screen.
Ooh, and he saved a run. And Escobar almost threw that ball away, and Hosmer with an excellent pick. They were able to make sure of 1 out for sure. Nice little backhand pick. Collins was late getting over. He was watching the action. Hosmer was nowhere near the base, but the fact that Collins was heads up enough to stick his glove out there, that saved another run, Longoria from scoring. He stayed with the heater. I thought he might come with something else.
94 miles an hour on that pitch to Escobar. Our Time Warner Cable ultimate internet pitch speed. So 1st and 3rd, 2 outs. And now in the dirt, ball 1 to Luke Scott, who has hit 1 of the 3 Tampa Bay home runs tonight. Luke Scott started the season on the disabled list with a right calf strain. Came back last night 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts, and now tonight he is 2 for 2 with a walk and a home run. 2-0. Two and one. Looking at Luke Scott's season from last year, as he played his first game last night, he had an 0 for 41 last year.
Oh man, that's a killer.
2-2. I mean, that's what, 10, 11 games.
You know,
probably had some walks or maybe a sack bunt mixed in there.
Mix in a doinker. How about a little infield hit or something? Ted Barrett ain't budging. It's been a strike all night. Luke Scott didn't like it.
And he's been short sleeves all night, Ted Barrett. 2-2. And Scott goes the other way, and it's a 2-run inning for the Rays. So they come back after the Royals got 5 in the 6th, and now it's 9-8.
Hanging breaking ball. Watch where this ends up. It hangs up there. It didn't quite come all the way down. It's a very hittable pitch.
So Collins gives up 2 runs, 4 hits. He departs with 2 on. And it'll be Aaron Crow to face Jose Lobaton when we come back. He struck out the first batter, but then gave up 4 hits to the next 5 hitters, and Tampa Bay has 2 in the 7th to make it a 1-run game. Tim Collins, and now he gives way to Aaron Crow, and we tell you that MLB.com is the only source for live baseball everywhere you go, delivering Royals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. And you can download it right now on your app store or text @BAT to 31826. So Crow in for Collins. I said Crow had a good start to the inning. Tim Collins had a good start to the inning with that strikeout. The Rays with 2 in the 7th. And now Crow on to try and put an end to the inning as Jose Lobaton moves over to the left side of the plate. The Royals would rather have him bat left-handed against Crow than right-handed against Collins.
your offense comes all the way back in this one, man, you can't lose this game. You got to have it.
1-2.
Got away with one elevated there.
Royals scored 3 runs in the second game of the doubleheader against Cleveland. That was on Sunday. Shut out on Monday, and now they've scored 17 runs in the last 2 games against Tampa Bay in the dirt. And Escobar will hold at second base, and it's 2-2 on Lobaton. Mendoza went 4 and allowed 6 runs. Bruce Chen pitched 2 excellent innings out of the bullpen as the Royals came back and scored 7 runs while he was in the game. And now Collins and Crow here in the 7th, and it's 3-2 on Lobaton. Runners go and hit hard to the right side. Johnson picks it up in shallow right and throws out Lobaton.
Nice play. Good focus. Just get the out.
To the bottom of the 7th in a 1-run game.
League, and Kansas City can move a half a game ahead of Detroit because they lost to Minnesota today. LA, Mark Trumbo and Mike Trout going deep. They win 5-4. New York won better than Houston. Cano goes deep. Mariano Rivera 11th save. Cleveland gets their damage done against Cliff Lee. How about Trevor Bauer, the rookie? 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, but 6 walks. Clay Buchholz moves to 6-0 as Boston rocks Toronto. And Chicago with Chris Sale on the mound gets the go-ahead home run as of right now from Connor Gillespie. Our Mazda game break takes us to Detroit, the Red Hot Tigers. But there you see the home run by Chris Parmalee against Darren Downs. Scott Diamond outduels Anibal Sanchez. Twins win it 6-2. Ryan?
Thank you, Joel. Jamie Wright will pitch for the 2nd time in the series, taking over in the bottom of the 7th. And man, if we had a wild one tonight. Royals lead by 1. And ball 1 to Elliott Johnson. Tampa Bay scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. So they had a 5-0 lead going into the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Royals scored a run. Then Tampa Bay scored in the 4th. So they led 6-1 going into the bottom of the 4th. Johnson bunts foul. Royals got a run in the bottom of the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 5 in the 6th, and 4 of those runs were unearned, and led 9-6. And you figure that just took the heart right out of the Rays, losing that big lead, but they come back in the 7th and they score 2. One and 2 from Jamie Wright to Elliott Johnson, who hit his first home run as a Royal back in the 3rd inning. Hit it to right field off of Jeremy Hellickson. He is 1 for 3.
Now, when Wright went out to that bullpen before the game, he didn't have any sleeves, probably didn't even have a coat. I don't think they realized it was going to drop that quickly here, the temperature. So I'm not sure if Wright's a sleeve guy or not, but sometimes the weather will catch you off guard. But he has pitched in Colorado for the Rockies, Brewers, Royals, Rangers, Indians, Mariners, Dodgers.
Still 2 and 2.
Remember, a long time ago in this game, Elliott Johnson homered in his first at bat back in the 3rd.
Backdoor breaking ball, no argument from Johnson. 1 down.
All right, let's see who. Earlier we asked you a sprint. Who is your pick to hit tonight? Okay. Not too many guys on Lorenzo Cain. That was my pick. And that's what they did. 14 hits in all, and they're not done. You hope. Brian, you didn't make a selection, did you?
I'll be making my selection when the game's over.
That's not fair.
2 hits for Alex, an RBI, and a run scored. Alex has 2 more hits tonight with runners in scoring position. And his average was 500 with runners in scoring position before the game. 1 and 1. He's now hitting .520 with runners in scoring position.
Oh man, in fuego. Money man.
Good changeup. 1 and 2 from Jamie Wright.
I tell you, it's 6'6", 230, like Jamie Wright is. He's got a great frame, and he's got all these pitches too, a whole bunch of it. He's a veteran guy, been around a long time, and he knows how to change speeds and locate. He's baffled Elliott Johnson. Now he's got Gordy with 2 strikes. That's a nice little jam shot right there. Now I'm sure Gordon was trying to use the knob of his bat like last night, but he'll never do that again. I'll be happy to tell you that, Ryan. I almost guarantee you he'll never get a hit like he did last night off the end of his knob of his bat.
Just outside, trying to
see that breaking ball like that. You can't give up on it. Elliott Johnson did. He saw it, that big curveball that struck him out. He saw it, and then he gave up on it because it came back down. Almost the identical pitch here on Gordon, but it was just a little bit off.
Loney comes way off the line, and a good feed to Jamie Wright for the 2nd out. Mentioned Jamie Wright's had a nice long career, mostly as a reliever. And if you go back to the mid-90s, and after Colorado had moved into Coors Field and they were having difficulty finding pitching, he was a bright light in their farm system, but had some pretty serious injuries. He had his knee operated on 3 times in 13 months. He had a small tear of his rotator cuff. He had a cartilage tear in his shoulder. He had elbow surgery. He was their first-round pick in 1993. Grew up in Oklahoma City, and his favorite team was the Royals, and had a chance to play for the Royals twice. His father is originally from Hutchinson, Kansas. Oh, 0-2 on Escobar. He has 2 hits tonight and a run scored.
What do you got on that? Got a Hall of Famer on the left, and Fizz singing tunes on the right. Steve Fizziak, Denny Matthews.
Denny's got his windows. He has his window closed. I don't blame him. Fizz was prepared with a warm coat. Escobar strikes out, so Jamie Wright comes out of the bullpen and gets the Royals in order. Royals need 6 more outs on defense to take game 2 and complete this comeback. They lead 9-8. Ford. For the best deals on Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. What a crazy day. First of all, the weather. And there's another Royals fan who thought he was going to have a nice, warm, comfortable night at the ballpark. And it was in the low 80s, mid 80s, and some parts of the metro area today. And now we're right around 50 degrees. Now, as far as the game goes, the Royals have been down 5-0 and 6-1, and they have led 9-6. Aaron Crow got the final out of the 7th, so he'll stay on for the 8th. 9 1-2 hitters coming up for Tampa Bay, beginning with Kelly Johnson. No balls and 2 strikes.
Okay, that's the Aaron Crow slider right there. The location, that's his money pitch.
Still 0-2.
Now, you said it's 50, but with that wind blowing like it is, I'm going to say the wind chill's a little bit colder than that.
One ball, 2 strikes. It's been very interesting watching the radar. I mean, there's rain. Just to the west of here, and the moisture is coming up from the south, and it is going straight north as if it's riding up State Line Road. Just inside, and now 2-2 on Johnson. So the rain is not supposed to hit Kauffman Stadium until around midnight, and there's a good chance for rain tomorrow. Got that call. A good start to the 8th inning for Aaron Crow, as Kelly Johnson strikes out for the 2nd time tonight.
It was a no-doubter. Johnson just went right back to the dugout.
And now Crow pitches to Desmond Jennings, and he has already struck out 3 times tonight. He struck out twice against Mendoza, and then Bruce Chen struck him out for a huge out in the 6th inning. Jennings also has a sac fly. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. You talk about big outs for the Royals tonight when they've been on defense. Bruce Chen working around a 2nd and 3rd and 1 out in the 6th inning. And that really pumped up the offense, because in the bottom of the 6th, the Royals scored 5. But with Escobar at 3rd, Scott at 2nd, and 1 out, Bruce struck out Johnson and Jennings. Wind is going to push that well back into the seats, and it's still 1-2 on Jennings. Slider, did he go? No. Alfonso Marquez is the first base umpire.
Looked like he offered at that, but didn't get the call.
Back with a fastball, and that is jolted into left center field, into the crosswind, and Kane makes the play. Boy, that was a good looking swing, and it sounded good. It might have been a little different result when we get into the summer months and then winds blowing out of the south. It's just a long, loud out here, and 2 down in the 8th. And now Matt Joyce, who is homered in both games of the series, and both home runs coming in the 1st inning. Crow misses down and in with ball 1. Little bit low.
Boy, good spot though. It's right where you want it.
Two and 1. Royals in the bottom of the 8th have Butler, Hosmer, and Kane. 3 and 1. Right center field, Kane and Francoeur, and Lorenzo makes the play again. A scoreless 8th for Aaron Crow. Royals by 1 at the end of 7½. promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Billy Butler showing off his poses after his hits. He gave the muscle, he gave the upward side to back to the dugout. And then had a little air guitar working. Nothing on that one, but interesting to see what he would have done then. But he did knock in a run. 9-8, they're holding on.
And here's another former Royal, so 3 in a row. This is Joel Peralta. Jamie Wright pitched the 7th. And Kyle Farnsworth got the final out of the 6th. And that was the biggest inning for the Royals when they scored 5.
Well, he's been really stingy. Look at that ERA. He's got a good one. Just the opponent's only hitting 156 off him. He's got a fastball, 88 to 90, slider, and a split finger.
2-0. Peralta pitched for the Royals in 2006, 2007, and 2008. After beginning his big league career with the Angels.
I remember him starting out there. Billy with a good rip.
And you might remember the story. He began his big league career with the Angels, but he began his professional career with the A's. He was a position player and wasn't much of one, and he was released, went back to the Dominican Republic, was pitching or playing on a summer team, and was asked to pitch. Three balls and 1 strike. Playing third base in a summer league game. His team ran out of pitchers, so they put Joel on the mound. And even though he didn't hit much as a position player, always had a good arm. And that was the beginning of a brand new career for him. He's had a nice long career now. Let's see what the wind does with this one. Loney gets closer and closer to the dugout suite, but down to a knee to make the play. And there is one down. Well, coming up on Saturday when the White Sox are here, the first 10,000 fans will get a Billy Butler bobblehead courtesy of Sprint. That's a 6:10 game with Chicago, and the gates will open at 4:30. Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets.
Billy Butler might be starting a new trend. They're all doing the air guitar now.
Ball 1 to Eric Hosmer. 0 for 3 with the run scored. Reached on an error in the 6th inning. There's the Billy bobblehead.
It's pretty good. Billy said maybe it should have been a little thicker, but he said he looks more like a sprinter with that body.
1-1. How you doing over there? You cold? You warm?
Good. I'm
hanging
perfect.
in there. Okay.
I'm warm as long as they got the lead.
Nice play by Loney. Little flip over to Peralta in front of Hosmer. 2 down in the 8th. So Hosmer is 0 for 4, but his play when he came to the plate in the 6th inning was the biggest part of the inning when he reached on an error by Escobar that could have ended the inning, and it would have been a 1-run 6th. But because of the error, Royals continued to hit and score after that, and it became a 5-run 6th. 4 unearned runs. Lorenzo Cain has driven in 2 tonight, and he has scored twice. It's just now starting to drizzle. Strike from Peralta.
That's a nice split finger. You don't see too many guys throw that for the first pitch strike unless you're confident, and he is.
1-1. One ball, 2 strikes. It's turned into a blanket night. Not only was it warm earlier today, I mean, it was muggy warm, like June weather. Hit hard right to Zobrist at second base, so Peralta comes out of the pen and gets the Royals 1-2-3. So Greg Holland comes on for the 9th, and the Rays will have the middle of the order: Zobrist, Longoria, Loney in a 1-run game.
Boulevard Royals Live is coming up after the game. Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery getting ready to break this one down. Second straight night that the offense opens up. We'll talk about that. Hear from Ned Yost, reaction from the clubhouse with Nate Bukaty, and much more coming up from Rivals after the game. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. And Greg Holland on for the save in a wild game. Royals 9-8 in the top of the 9th. And it won't be easy with Zobrist, Longoria, and Loney coming up. Not the call. Zobrist thought it was low as he snaps his head back, and home plate umpire Ted Barrett.
Ooh, man. Tough spot to hit that ball there. If he stays there, it'll be quick work. He's bringing that ERA down gradually. Good hard mid-90s fastball, slider, and a split finger.
0-2.
That's what Ned Yost likes to see. 0-2.
Zobrist homered in the first inning, back-to-back with Matt Joyce for his third, and then he singled and scored in a 2-run 7th inning for Tampa Bay. And that was a big inning for them because the Royals had a 9-6 lead after scoring 8 unanswered runs. I figure that Tampa Bay was just demoralized after giving up a couple of big leads earlier in the game, but those 2 runs were important for them because it's been a 1-run game ever since. Zobrist and Longoria coming home in that 2-run 7th. It's been a long game. It's been a cold game. And for the Rays, a frustrating game to this point. Two and two. Right to Johnson. Gets a nice big hop and throws out Zobrist. You can imagine if Greg Holland is having a bit of a flashback right now as the wind or the rain is just starting to fall. Go back to April the 9th. Got 2 big strikeouts against the Twins. The rain coming down very heavy, and with the bases loaded and Joe Mauer at the plate, Greg Holland, who got up to a slow start this year, struck out Mauer, and he has looked like Greg Holland ever since. And now here he is with the rain just starting to fall and the temperature dipping toward 50 degrees and short sleeves on. Evan Longoria, 3 hits, a home run shy of hitting for the cycle, and Greg Holland would like to keep him right there. One and one.
It's a tough one to lay off of there. It's that splitty. Split finger.
That looked like a swing. Nope. And it looked like Longoria was asking for the appeal.
He did ask him. You're watching. Good point. Check it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and check it. I know I didn't swing. Three balls, 1 strike. Now Longoria has 6 home runs, and those 6 home runs have been in his last 5 games. There's not a whole lot of power coming up after him. But Holland goes right after him and throws a fastball right by him. 3-2. Longoria struck out in his only previous at bat against Holland. Got him with another fastball. Climbed the ladder on him. And for the Royals, 9 strikeouts tonight.
Boy, great sequence of pitching there against Longoria. A lot of split fingers. He laid off him, and he powered the ball by him. And as Longoria walked off the field, he looked at Ted Barrett and he said, "Where was that?" And Ted Barrett said, "It's a little bit up." Perfect location to get a swing and miss.
And now Loney, who has 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and he's hitting .380. Now the Rays are down to their last strike. Not a very big crowd tonight, as you can imagine, with a light drizzle now, the dipping temperatures. They've seen an exciting game. And everyone that is here is standing. As Loney hits it on the ground to Johnson. And the Royals begin May just like they finished April, with an exciting come-from-behind victory.
Best come-from-behind victory so far this year, in my opinion. They battled, they stayed in the game. Bruce Chin came in and threw 2 shutout innings, and he'll earn the W. Chin and the pin to win with some frenzy hitting attack. Excellent win for the first day. Mayday, Mayday.
And the big inning for the Royals was a 5-run 6th inning. And that's our 4th play of the game.
Yeah, they just went to frenzy hitting. They had it out at home, didn't take it. That might have cost them. Hosmer hit a ball in the hole. Unell dropped the ball, and that just kept the rally going. Lorenzo Cain dropped one in. Ended up having a good night. Frenchie, that was the one right there. Knocked in the last 2 with a nice little top spin, 2 bouncer through the infield. Can you see that?